Okay, mon ami, this is what we have so far for the layout. I figure I'm never gonna get a good enough Wi-Fi or a cellular signal in here for you to actually have a video call with me while we're at this layout. So I'm gonna give you a layout tour. Okay, so here we have staging. I have a couple of cars there. I've been checking clearance as I go along and laying track and making underpasses and stuff. So I reckon staging will be used. There'll be these two storage tracks here, and this will be the runaround track or passenger train track. It's also the only track that has access to what I'm gonna call the westbound main line. This is coming from the eastbound main line. So there's what you're looking at there. The radius here, this total diameter is about it's over 6 feet, but under 7 feet roughly. So pretty good radius there. So here what we have is the main line coming into town. This is going to be covered with a cityscape right here, using photo backdrops to get like a city skyline, and then you're going to have a neighborhood here, and then right here you have a junction. So the main line continues down here, and right here we have a junction. So my original idea for this junction was that this continues through the backdrop, and as you can see, becomes like a almost like a high line that would cross up and over the main line on the other side of the layout. But then a friend pointed out, Barry pointed out, that it would be annoying to operate a train through here, only to have it disappear through the wall, and you have to walk all the way around to continue to operate it just to here. So what I was thinking is this might actually be cool to sort of replicate. What I might do is amend it and change it so that it just follows along on the backside of the wall divider here, but then just continues to a dead end over here, but it would be hidden from like here to here. So what I'm thinking is the hidden here to here, this 8 feet would, oh no, that's more like 4 feet, would represent a train station. And here you'd have the locomotive sort of just, and some cars peeking out of the station. And so this would represent where all via trains could start and terminate right in here. This part would be totally eliminated. This would also create a scenic view block, a passover, where the return for the branch line could come out into view. So right here, what you have is this is the entrance to staging over here. Down here, this switch is going to lead to a older industrial area switching part of the layout right here. That's going to come much later. I don't want to worry about that right now, but that switches to access this. Then you have the diverging switch here. This, as you can tell by the ties, this is branch line ties, this is main line ties. So what you have here is your connection to the main line for westbound trains, but then here you have this branch line, which is just a simple reverse loop. So what you have over here is this whole area. I know it looks a little shitty with the foam just lying here. I'm just storing it here momentarily. But the idea is the branch line comes through this scenic divider here. And this is going to be an industrial area. But this is sort of, I'm having like a mental block on this one. The idea is the train sort of goes around and disappears through a scenic divider here. So you have this large amount of real estate right here to put some industries in, and I wasn't sure what to put. My first idea was to put like Point St. Charles shops kind of locomotive thing over here, and then over here I was going to have like they have in Montreal, like Maltage Canada, and then there'd be an overhead conveyor to connect to the grain facility, which is definitely going over here. And that would it would give you like the Point St. Charles, Port of Montreal look. And the conveyor, like those ones they have at the Port of Montreal, the conveyor would actually serve as the opening for the scenic divider. So trains can pass underneath it, but then disappear because of this conveyor and backdrop. All right. So I would like your thoughts on this area here. There's a lot of options, but I have a lot of switches left. So what you're seeing here is this is now the main line has come down. As you can see, there's about a 2% grade to get up to downtown. We're now on the wrong side of the tracks, if you want to call it. This is where the main line diverges. All the switches on the main line are number 9. And then we have the main line coming around here. As you can tell, this is Central Valley main line ties. Nice and beefy. And this is Micro Engineering Code 83 ties. I wanted to have sort of a different look between the two. You can see these are spindly, kind of unevenly spaced. These are beefy and very evenly spaced. So it gives a nice sort of like secondary primary. So what you have here is obviously this is the entrance to the grain facility over here. And then you have the main line converges into a single track right here. So this becomes like your meeting point. What I'm also thinking I'm gonna do here is this will be like a place where 2 by 8 foot module that I could take to shows could butt up and create some extra space here. Anyways, not a big deal. So this is the current high line over the main line that was gonna be used as a scenic divider and to allow trains to pass through the backdrop, more or less camouflage, and these risers are here to sort of give you an idea of what the landscape would look like to block the view, to cover up the return of the branch line, and also sort of divert your eye from being able to see through here. So I don't know what to do about this high line. My idea originally was just to have a little industry up here. This was going to be the CP line for further expansion later in life, and this was actually going to be a way to like load a train into the main line. But like if you wanted to bring equipment, you could put it in a cassette and click it into here and bring it down. So I would like your feedback on that. Do I keep this high line the way it is, or do I turn it into the via station, which would mean that it would be entirely blocked from view on this side? You'd have a kind of like almost like an escarpment like you have around Kingston or Niagara Falls, blocking the view of this here, okay? So I'll get back up and give you another view. What you also have here is the entrance to the main line for eastbound trains from staging. So once again, I've done a little variation here. We have a number 9 switch. This is the Details West frog here. This is a manganese cast insert frog. I've been using some tools Barry loaned me to create their fast tracks tools for creating the points, which look fantastic. And also the stock rail, there's a special tool to create like an indent on the stock rail that gives these absolutely beautiful easements. Anyway, so here we have some old Shinohara Code 83. The difference between these two isn't as obvious, but there is some difference there. So this is the entrance to staging, like I said, for eastbound trains. As you can see there, when we look here, you can see that the staging goes a little bit downhill, and then the main line starts its ascent up the scenic part of the layout. So here what you have is the train. So this main line, there would be a piece of scenery here that by this point, this is Atlas track, so it's crap, but it's hidden. So by this point, this main line has disappeared out of view using trees and maybe a highway overpass or something. You know, it's really up to creative at that point. So here what you have is just scenery, just a nice mild hill or escarpment that'll block the view of all this stuff, and scenery over here. My idea is to have like a rolling hill, a little farm up here, maybe even an N scale one to give it an idea of depth. And the backdrop is going to be like, I would like to have sort of like a view of Lake Ontario in the background. So it gives it like that feeling that you're along, or maybe like a view of the St. Lawrence, something like, it gives you an idea that you're in the countryside near Brockville. I envision this space here being the ideal space for that overland Pratt Truss Bridge right around here, because it's straight, it's relatively, it's a bit of an incline, but it won't be that visible. I think it'd be a nice scenic highlight. And then the main line, what it'll do is it curves around here. Again, this is all hidden from view. This is staging in here. And I did a little modification. I removed the 2x4 riser here because I didn't want the trains passing through the wall here. I wanted that hill to be the scenic divider here. I wanted this scene to be continuous. And what you have here is when this train rounds the corner here, is it'll come through a cut. And this area is going to look a lot like sort of Napanee / Port Hope. It's going to have a viaduct running through town, and all of this will be a scenic sort of rural area where the residential part of town starts to build up. So what you have here is, you already see this is like an underpass for vehicles, and there'll be a stone arch viaduct on this side, and same on this side with the the hill coming down to meet this area here. It's gonna be very pretty to look at. It'll be the first thing you see when you come in. And that is like a 48-inch radius turn here. So even via cars and 89-foot auto racks are gonna look pretty nice going through there. And you know, it gives a lot of opportunity for scenery. I haven't quite finished the valence all the way around yet, but it's getting there. Anyways, and yeah, so then this comes around here, and then you the turn, the curve is already super elevated, as you can see. I sort of just pushed